Hi, my name's Keri, and I am the Executive Director of New Shelves Books. We are here for Free Advice Fridays, the hour every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, where we get together and we talk about books, writing, publishing, and we answer all of your questions so that we can come together as a community and be empowered with all of our knowledge together. I think that it's very important that we share our knowledge and that we do better when we're together. So that's what this is all about, and let's get started. The first question I want is, I know Yvette had asked a question last week that I said I wanted to make sure that nothing had changed. And so the question was, are there any disadvantages to using Ingram Spark's Pressbooks for do-it-yourself design? So Pressbooks it's an online tool. It's a formatting tool for your interior formatting book and for your ebook. And so when you use it, there's really no disadvantage. It's a good program. You do have to pay for it. It's $99 if you do the ebook and the PDF, the print PDF. There is a discount code right now, I believe, that runs through December. Just keep in mind that it's not an auto convert. You do still have to work for it a little bit. It's very similar to a WordPress. So if you work on WordPress for a website, it's very similar to that. It's user-friendly. But if you have a hard time on the computer, if you get easily frustrated, just keep that in mind. Just because it's a formatting tool does not mean it formats for you with no help from you. So it is a great tool. It's $99 for ebook and paperback, and that's per title. So also keep in mind that if you have 5 books, then you're paying $500. There are other options like Pressbooks out there. For example, if you have a Mac, Vellum is a very popular program. That one is $249 for unlimited ebooks and paperbacks. So it's more upfront, but if you've got multiple titles, then, same thing. And again, it's a tool to format your book. It's not something that just does it for you. So you have to keep that in mind, and your comfort level with technology and your comfort level with formatting things and knowing that what looks good and what doesn't look good. If you're comfortable there, then it can be a great option. There is, excuse me, it would be remiss of me not to tell you there's a free version of Pressbooks for your ebook, but there are ads in it. I don't recommend that. So if you were just doing an ebook, I believe it's $19 to take the ads out of it. Then if you do the paperback and the ebook, it is $99. So no big drawbacks. I thought things might have changed. They've done so many updates at Ingram Spark, but nothing has really changed much recently with Pressbooks. So, all right. All right, a question about offset printers. You have recommended several ones in the past, but many of their minimums are 500. Do you know of any offset printer that would print small runs, say 250? Here is the thing. If you're looking for a small run, if you're looking anywhere from 50 to 250, I would be looking for either super big companies that will do that kind of thing. The quality may not be as great. It's going to be a little bit like print on demand usually. Or go local. Find a local printer that's willing to do that. I know that we have one here in Rochester that does that. Not only do they do super small runs, but they also do drop ship. They actually will print warehouse and drop ship. I'm trying to think of their name. And I feel so bad. They're so nice over there. Oh, it'll come to me and I'll post it in our group, you guys. I'm so sorry, but there is somewhere here in Rochester that does that. Very nice company that does that. East Ridge Printing. That's who it is. East Ridge Printing will do that. And they do the small runs. Now, keep in mind, though, that when you do a small run like that, it's more expensive per book. The more books you do with offset printing, the cheaper it gets per book. So at 50 books, you may be paying $7 per book. At 250 books, you may be paying $5.50 per book. And then at 1,000 books, you may be paying $4, and 5,000, $2. So you should expect to pay a little bit more per book when you're doing a smaller print run like that. And always, if you check locally first. That way, if it's local, you may be able to pick it up without having to do any shipping, which could decrease your cost. And then you can support local. I think it's always great that if you can find someone local to your area that does something like this, then you can build a relationship to where you can use them and work with them, you know, in an ongoing way. And many of these places do multiple different types of printing. So maybe you can use them for different printing projects as you're marketing your book as well. Okie dokie. Do you have examples of authors, publishers who have their own author website and their own publishing website? What is the best way to market or display books, and what is the easiest way to manage updating both sites? Do authors, publishers find themselves creating social media accounts for both their author sites and their publisher sites? So David, if I'm understanding correctly, you have more than one book, or you've published maybe more books than just your own, and you'd like to create a publisher's platform as well as your author platform. If that's the case, I don't think, unless you're really moving big into publishing, that you need to have full social media. Now, if you are really moving into publishing other people's books, and that's something you want to go big into, then you have to treat it like a business. I mean, I have my own personal social media, but I also have to make sure that we're running New Shelf's social media. And then we have Breathe Books social media, which is more of like review and advertising. So if you really want that to be a focus, you do need to have some basic social media, basic website, that kind of thing. But if you aren't, if it's just kind of you've published here and there and you would like to have a publisher website to be more professional looking, then you can do that. Do a website. And I mean, I don't think you need all the social media unless, again, that's going to be one of your bigger focuses. As far as a website, what I've seen done very well is to do a fairly simple, clean website for the publisher site. And then link to, as you're talking about your books, you link over to your website. And your website would be the main website you're driving traffic to, unless you have a reason to talk about your publisher site. So whether it's because you were saying, you know, you can get books wholesale through my publisher, or different things like that, as far as like publisher, or if you're talking about different books that you have worked with as a publisher. So link the two together, but unless publishing is really your focus, I would stick to a pretty basic website there, and then concentrate on your website if you as an author is what you want to focus on, if that is your goal. So you have to know your goals. Now, in a perfect world, if you're running your publishing company as a company and you're an author, well, then you go full throttle on both. But if that's not what your goal is, if that's not what you're doing, then that doesn't make sense. You have to pick the priority and work out from there. And I will say that I have seen people create a publishing website under the publisher's name that only focuses on their books. It's very author-centered on this one author. That does not look legitimate. If you're going, I would rather see a publisher website with like limited information for the publisher, if they are only, if it's you and you are the publisher, than to have a publisher website that is just plastered with one author, because then that's an author site and it doesn't look quite legit when someone goes to a publisher site and the focus is one person. So keep that in mind as well. All right. Yes, if you ever don't see, in the last year, we have updated our website and we did a big overhaul, and we've kind of changed things. We're changing our programs. And so if you ever are wondering if New Shelves offers a service that you don't see on our website, just email me and ask. We have kind of moved our model from things that are just open to anybody, to making sure that we are working well with people by making sure that when they ask for something, if they need a press sheet or a media kit or something like that, I talk to them first to make sure that we are aligned in our ideas and that it'll be a good fit before anyone can just go buy something. Or finding that that makes for a smoother process, happier people. So if you are wondering if New Shelves is available to work with you on anything from ads to media kits, mailings, that kind of thing, just give us a email. Email is always best. So info@newshelves.com, and then we can talk because we do all of that. Let's see. Yeah, I'm getting questions about yesterday's webinar. So we did a library webinar yesterday. It's a program that Amy has been involved with for a long time, the Real Fast Library Marketing Program, and it was something that she had worked on. So it's actually a lot of video of Amy talking about 2020 and things like that. It was a great webinar all on libraries, and we will have a replay. I'm hoping to have that emailed out today in our mailing list. So if you have signed up for the New Shelves mailing list for our newsletter, you will get that hopefully today, because I know that there was a special promo with a discount on the library program that runs through the weekend. But yes, replay. And you don't have to buy any program. Completely free webinar on libraries. You can just watch it, glean what you can from it. It's packed full of information, so it's really helpful regardless. And I will get that out today, hopefully. Again, I'm waiting on the video. All right. Let me see here. I'm going to hop over to email because I know Wendy had emailed me a couple questions. Okay. All right. Wendy was asking about what format should I use to distribute my audiobook outside of Amazon. Generally, Wendy, when you're using an audiobook, almost everything is MP3 now, I believe. It's all digital download. There are still people creating CDs and things like that, but it's not as popular anymore. The internet download has kind of become the thing. It's cheaper to do, it's easier to do, so that's what I would stick with, unless you have a big reason for doing an actual CD. I think eventually everything will end up moving to like a digital code or a download rather than a physical disc. Soon CDs and DVDs will be the VHS. They're getting closer and closer by the day. All right. I'm considering distributing my audiobook with Findaway Voices. Here's part of the email I received from ACX regarding pros and cons. So before we submit your request, we want to remind you of the benefits you receive while distributing your audiobook exclusively with ACX. You earn higher royalty from Audible and Amazon. Your audiobook is eligible for the promo code program. Yep, your projects may also be eligible for pre-order programs. When your audiobooks are not exclusive, you receive 25% of royalties from Audible, Amazon, and iTunes. So basically, let's just be honest and say that's the big thing, that when you go exclusive through ACX, instead of 25% royalty, you get a 40% royalty. That's the big thing. Yes, you have promo code things, and Findaway has different options as well. So let's talk about the exclusive versus non-exclusive. The exclusive versus non-exclusive for audiobook for ACX. I will say that Derek Doepker definitely said he prefers Findaway Voices, and I tend to agree with him. I have to say this. As far as ebooks go, Amazon is in on the market. They've got a huge piece of the market, the majority of the market at over 90%. However, as far as audiobooks go, Audible is big. They are getting a big chunk of the market, but other markets are still in there. And when you go broad with Findaway Voices, you can do discount things like Chirp, which is the BookBub of audiobooks. You can give your book away for free as a incentive, your audiobook for free as an incentive with sign up, or I mean, you could say buy the print book and email me and I'll give you an exclusive download to the audiobook. There are so many different ways you can use that audiobook. And you have more rights and more freedom. So yes, you make a little bit more if you go exclusive with ACX. If you do the ACX program where they basically help pay for the production, that may be one reason to do it. But if you are doing your own narration, if you're paying for your own narration, then going through Findaway Voices seems like the way to go. And that's, I think, what I would recommend. At this time, when I'm working with clients, I'm telling them to go with Findaway Voices rather than an exclusive with ACX. Unless you have a really good reason not to. Do your research. I mean, maybe your genre is super niche and ACX and Audible are really the leaders in that. If that's the case, go with them. But for the most part, I'm going to say I would go Findaway Voices rather than exclusive with ACX for the audiobook. Okay, I'm a bit confused. I have a properly formatted manuscript using advanced word skills. What kind of program services would I need to submit it to POD for ebooks? Here's the thing. Word is fantastic, and you can do a lot of things with Word. And people who are very skilled in Word can, they can do amazing things. But books were really meant to be formatted in a formatting program. InDesign, using something like Vellum, using a different program like that for your print-on-demand file. It's just cleaner, it's more control, it will have more common standards. Because in the book industry, you may pick up a book and say, oh yeah, it looks great. I pick up a book, guys, I'm sorry, I'm outing myself here, but I pick up a book and I immediately, I judge it a little bit. I do. I look at the formatting, I look at the cover, and I'm looking for a set of industry standards that I've come to expect from professionally published books or from well-published books. And so as I'm looking at these books, if it doesn't tick those things, I'm going, I don't know, this book isn't up to the standard that I expect to see things. So if I'm doing that, you can bet your pants that librarians are doing it, that bookstores are doing it, that anyone in the industry is doing it. Now, will the average consumer on Amazon do that? No, I mean, probably not. But if you want your book to get into bookstores and libraries and things like that, having a professionally formatted manuscript to the standards of what's common today, not last year, not 2 years ago, but what's common and what's accepted in the industry today is super important. And as you go into your ebook, the reason for getting it formatted or using a specialized program where you can actually make adjustments is that you can take a Word document. You can also take a Word document. You can take an EPUB. You can do an automatic conversion. Draft to Digital does this. KDP, I believe, does this. So you can do an auto conversion, but what happens is that is a program. It's a program automatically just changing your book based on all the techie stuff that it does. It's the programming. You don't really have full control to say, my bullet points look weird, let me change those. My heading isn't exactly how I'd like, let me change that. So that's kind of the difference, is that when you're using an auto converter, which again, they're free and there's something to be said for that, when you're using an auto converter like from draft to digital, it can be fine. It can be, depending on your goals. But if you have a lot of charts, a lot of illustrations, anything like that, you can run into some wonkiness and then your book doesn't look right. So I just think it's, again, it's up to your goals, what you're going for, and what your priorities are. If your goal is just to get a book up and out there, if your goal is just to sell online, then it probably won't be picked apart. But you need to make sure and definitely check your files. Biggest thing ever, no matter what you do, whether you get a book formatter or you're doing it yourself or you are doing an auto converter, check your files, proofread through that. Every single book that I work with, I sit there and I go, I'm not reading it all. Not again, because I've usually read the books already, but if I am working with a book one-on-one with a client and we are doing publishing consulting, I'm scrolling through every single page to make sure that there was no weird formatting errors, because that's what happens. Ed is asking, can you place a Word doc into InDesign? InDesign is like a formatting tool, Ed. It's something I personally do not work in. I've been in it. It is not my skill. I do not have the skills of, let's just admit, I'm not artistic, and I am not a formatter. So I have great formatters that I work with. I can tell you the ins and outs of design, or of InDesign. I can tell you if something looks right, if it's normal, but how to get to what I want it to look like. I have beautiful, wonderful people that are much smarter and more creative than I to do that. And so I know I need a book formatter. And so I've formed great relationships there. Other people may be different. You may be super savvy. So yeah, so Tara is saying, Tara, who again is one of these people much smarter than I, you have to import the Word file into InDesign, then map the styles from Word to InDesign. Again, if that sounds like googly gut to you, like it does to me, get a formatter. It's lovely, it's easy to work with, and then they get to do it, and I don't have a headache. That's kind of how I feel about it. I have often been known to say you either have time or you have money, or well, if you want to publish a book, you need to have either time or money, and you have to decide where to spend each thing. Each thing is a commodity. My time is a commodity. My money is a commodity. But where does it make sense to use them? If it is marketing, I mean, why would I pay anyone? I can do that. But if it's formatting, it's not worth it. I will spend more of my time than it's ever worth the frustration. So then that's something I need to invest in. And I think that that's something we all have to think about, is what are we willing to do ourselves and what do we need to invest in? But generally speaking, you need to have a combo of both in order to have a really successful book. If you want a beautifully formatted book, get a pro to do it. And they're not, I mean, yes, can they be expensive? Can they cost thousands of dollars? Yes, they can, but we have contacts and you do not pay anything near that amount. So again, time, money, frustration, it all plays in. You have to know what your goals are and what you're willing to live with. All right. Yeah, so Tara's saying that at one point you could make a good amount of money with the promo codes from ACX and Audible. Do you get paid, because she's saying that you could get paid through Audible. I do not believe you get paid for codes from Findaway Voices. I think that it's not like a token. I couldn't say that for sure, but I don't believe so from my recent dealings. Now, I'm sure that they have different options. I know like there's different packages and things you can do. So again, all about your goals. All right, you guys, if you have questions, drop them in the Q&A. I'm going to go back to our email here. All right. All right. Okay, we have more questions about Amazon ads, and I know I had said that I want to go live with someone's Amazon account. I have had a couple people email me and say, yep, mine. I don't remember who it was, but someone said, show me the Amazon ad way, which was hilarious. That made me smile. We will be doing that. However, I want to make sure that I have time to prep, pull keywords and things like that. So we will be taking an in-depth dive on Amazon ads, but we're going to do it after the holidays. We are not going to have Free Advice Friday next Friday because it's Christmas, and we are not going to have Free Advice Friday the following Friday because it's New Year's. So we will be taking a 2-week break. If you have questions in the meantime, you can email them in. questions@freeadvicefridays.com. If you do that, they will show up so that we can answer them in the next Free Advice Friday we do. But we will not physically be here. We are going to be celebrating and taking a break and resting up, and I hope you all do the same. But when we come back the following Friday, which is the 8th, we are going to be looking at Amazon ads. We're going to be looking at setting up ads. We're also going to be looking at how to look at your ads to see if they're working well or not, to see what's working and what's not, so that you can refine them. I'm pretty sure that we have a super awesome Amazon ad expert who is going to be running a challenge in January that's free. So I think it could tie in really well to where we can kind of talk about it and learn about it. And then there's this challenge where you get all these great tips and stuff. So that's coming up in January. If you would like to be in the running for looking at your Amazon ads, to set up ads, to get keywords, that kind of thing, I will need a couple of people who are willing to let us use their account and share it live so we can walk through the different steps. If that is you and you would like your book to be considered, please email me questions@freeadvicefridays.com and just email me your book title, your ISBN, and a link to where I can see it. It must be up on KDP. So in order to run ads, we need a KDP uploaded book. If that's you, send yours in. And if you've already done that, I have been looking at it and I will get back to you hopefully today with some more information. All right, let's see. A question that's been coming up more and more is about Goodreads. Goodreads, is it worth it to advertise on Goodreads? So let's talk about it. I think everyone, most people anyway, I think are fairly familiar with Goodreads. Goodreads is a book hub where people can rate and review books. They can put them on their shelf to read. There are reading challenges. It becomes really popular, especially around January when people are setting up reading challenges for the following year. And Goodreads is a fantastic place for fiction. It's a good place to get reviews, to get your book up there. You can do like a Q&A with the author. There are different things. There are giveaways. But what I always say with advertising as far as Goodreads, go cautiously. People on Goodreads are talking about books, they're looking about books, they are avid readers. However, they're not necessarily looking to spend money. And that is one of the things I look at with ads, is whether or not the person that I'm advertising to is ready to spend money. That's why I love Amazon ads. Someone browsing around on Amazon, they've got their card connected, they're ready to buy. They are not, like they've got their checkbook in hand. If people even have checkbooks anymore. But as far as Goodreads, maybe not so much. They love books, but are they ready to buy them? Same thing with Facebook. I think you have to be careful with Facebook ads, because people browsing around on Facebook may love books. That doesn't mean they're necessarily ready to click over and buy a book. So I think that is important that you consider that. How-to books and nonfiction don't tend to get the boost on Goodreads. So I would definitely say if that is your genre, I would look at other advertising opportunities. It's probably not your best bet. If you do, however, have a young adult, I would say middle grade young adult or adult fiction book, you can look into Goodreads advertising into their giveaways, and that may be a good option for you. Everyone on this call, you should all go get a Goodreads author profile. If you have a book, you get your original Goodreads profile. You just sign up for it. It's free. Then you go claim your book, and then you can fill out your profile. You can have a bio. You can link to your Twitter. You can send people to your website. It's one more free spot to advertise your book and to promo yourself and send people to your website. So there's no reason not to do that. Absolutely go get it set up. Go do it today. And in fact, if you have a book, I strongly recommend that you do the same for BookBub. Go to BookBub, it's bookbub.com/partners, which I will type in here, bookbub.com/partners. And this is how you claim your BookBub profile. And if you at any time intend to ask for a BookBub feature deal, if you are on BookBub at all, I highly recommend go, claim your profile and claim your book. There's no reason not to. Once again, it's one more spot for a free profile, a free promo, if you will. And if you're already on BookBub, if you get a BookBub feature deal and people are reading your book and reviewing it, they often will leave reviews on BookBub. It's just smart. It makes sense. And if you are already reading on BookBub and you are reviewing, they can see that when it's time to run a promo, when you are asking them to run a promo, they can see if you are involved. There is actually an author that we love and work with, Hank Philippi Ryan, and it's just what she does. She just, first off, we love her. She's so bubbly and happy and just wonderful. But she is just very active on BookBub. She will read books there. She will review them. We've had some deals where her publisher has offered her ebooks for discount on featured deals for BookBub. And what happened is that she was so much a part of their community that they were like, hey, we'd like to interview you, because she's not just an author asking for something, she is participating in a community. And I think that's a really important lesson for all of us, is that you can't just ask of your audience. You can't just keep asking of other people. You have to get involved, and that makes people want to interview you. It makes them want to share your book. So I think that is just an important thing to acknowledge, that if you want a community to buy your book, if you want a community to support them, you really, you don't have to, but it helps a lot if you're a part of that community, if you're giving back, if you are, if you're part of who they are, their community. If you're a friend to them, if you're supporting them, they will want to support you. So my 2 cents there. Yeah, Authors Guild is another place that's great. I know Jacqueline is a part of Authors Guild, so that's another place you can be a part of. I always say, do you have to be active on Goodreads? Do you have to be doing reading challenges and checking it every day and BookBub? No. But should you have a profile there? Yes. Get a profile. It's a free place to put your book, and it just makes sense. It costs you nothing. You should set it up. You should check it every once in a while, but it's not something you have to baby. Just set it up and get it ready. All right. Well, you guys, it's about 10:37, but I've got no more questions. So if you've got any more questions, drop them in the Q&A. And whenever I say this, suddenly we get questions. So I'm going to say at 10:37 instead of at 10:57. If you've got questions, drop them in the Q&A. Again, we will not have Free Advice Fridays next week, which is Christmas, and then the week after, which is New Year's. We will not have Free Advice Fridays. We will have Free Advice Fridays the week after, and that's when we will be talking about Amazon ads. What do I want for Christmas aside from the world peace? Just kidding. I had a really hard time this year. What I wanted for Christmas, I want to sleep until 2, and I want to read from 2 p.m. until midnight. I know that sounds weird, but I don't get to rest a lot. So I think that's what I'm looking forward to for Christmas. And actually, I just found out I have 5 Audible codes for books. So I want recommendations for Audible books. If you have one, send it to me. All right. If you get the free ISBN number from Amazon, does your book automatically get included into the Library of Congress? No. That's kind of like a double-pronged half question. If you have an ISBN, no matter what, an ISBN gets you into certain databases. That's why we use it as our tag. That's how we can search everything. However, if you really want Library of Congress, if you want a PCIP block, if you want those actual cataloging blocks, you have to go apply for those. They're not automatic. So if you want cataloging blocks to get into the WorldCat system, to get into the MARC system for your digital files, which are these cataloging library systems, you have to apply for that. That's not automatically done for you. So go out and do it for sure. And again, it's always our recommendation that you go and you get your own ISBN from Bowker. It is, I think, just helped someone buy a 10-pack of ISBNs this week, and it was $2.95. So always recommend that you go and get your own ISBNs. It gives you more control. It means that it's truly your book. So I recommend that. If you've taken the free ISBN from KDP, Draft to Digital, anywhere else, you can certainly make the best of it. It's not the end of the world, but if you are going forward, I'd recommend you get your own. And PCIP block is your cataloging block for libraries that gets you into the librarian system so that they can easily enter your books in and check your books out. It gets you in usually the WorldCat system, which you can track online through worldcat.org. You can search your ISBN, your title, and it shows up and will show you where libraries are cataloging your book. Excuse me. So it's a really cool feature. All right. As far as Caroline's asking about how much it will cost to make an audiobook. So when you're going into an audiobook, there are so many options. You can narrate it yourself, which is essentially, it's pretty darn close to free. We just had a training with Derek Doker about that, about how you can do that yourself. If you are going through ACX, they have options where it's essentially free. You are in a contract where they get a higher royalty and percentage, you're exclusive, and they will help pay for the cost of getting a narrator. You can go through places like Findaway Voices, and that depends on the narrator. So it can cost you anywhere from doing it yourself. You can probably get an audiobook up for a couple $100, all the way to, depending on your narrator, a couple $1,000. So again, depends on how much work you personally are willing to do. It depends on how picky you are on your narrator. I mean, if you're like, man, I'm only going to accept the narrator that does all of James Patterson's books, then you should expect to wait a long time and pay a lot of money. If you, however, are open to auditioning and finding different narrators that are not as well known, then you will have more luck and you will pay less. So there are lots of great options out there, but you do have to work at it a little bit. Yvette, you'll have to email me that question to go on a little bit more detail about what you're looking for. If you're looking for design and marketing, it depends on what kind of design and marketing you're looking for. Generally, nothing has changed in what we offer per se here at New Shelves. We still offer a lot of the same programs. We are just making sure that it's a good fit. So if you are looking to work with New Shelves, if you have questions about working with us on ads and marketing, design, publishing, consulting, we do all of that. Just email me, info@newshelves.com, and we can chat. And let's see. How do you transition to a Library of Congress number after you have 3 titles published? David, just to remind you, it has to be 10 titles by 3 separate authors. So after that, you just apply for a Library of Congress numbers, but that is their markers. You must have, for a Library of Congress number, a publisher must have a minimum of 10 titles by 3 separate authors. After that, you can apply. You do it through their website. There's forms and all of that. All right, my friends. Yeah. Not 3 titles, it's 10 titles, 3 authors. I know it's confusing. All the rules. Oh yeah, Linda, I love Sissy Spacek. All right, you guys, I think we got through all the questions a little bit early, but if we're done and you guys are good, then I am good as well. Final reminder, just a hammer at home, we will not have Free Advice Fridays on next Friday for Christmas or for January 1st, but we will be back after that. If you would like to consider working with us on Amazon ads so that we can show everyone what we're looking at. If you're willing to have us look at your ad results and analyze them, if you'd like us to work on some keywords and get ads up with you, I am looking for a couple of people to work with that we can do this for free for you so that we can show the group what it is when we're setting up ads. So if that's you, email me questions@freeadvicefridays.com with your title, your ISBN, and your link to your book. Must be up on KDP. And you guys, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. It has been a crazy but wonderful year. I think it's been great. I hope to see, posts from all of you over the holidays. Take a picture and put it in Free Advice Friday. And we will be back on January the 8th. In the meantime, happy holidays, and we will see you in 2021. Bye, guys.